Hi everybody, and welcome to week number 4. So last week we covered chapters 5, 6, and 7, basically covering overall topics in management, organization. You read up on operations management as well. This week is a pretty full week as well. We have 3 chapters we're covering, which still largely around management. So we have chapter 8, which is employee behavior. We talk about chapter 9, which is about leadership and decision making, and chapter 10, which is the more general topic of human resource management. So those are all important chapters, and when we're done with that, we will wrap up our chapters on management. So this week you have the quizzes due. And you also have an assignment, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you see the material in there, it's revolving around chapter 8, and I'm talking about ideas of motivation, and then you need to turn in by Wednesday the 3rd, and then you've also got a discussion post having to do with unions, which is an important thing for us to cover. And it's specifically around what happened a few years ago in Wisconsin when the state's employees unions were essentially made ineffective by the then governor of the state and legislature, I should say, and some of the things that went around that. So read up on unions and organized labor. That'll help you to answer those. The original post on the 3rd and your comment to another's post by the 5th. And the last thing we have is our first unit test of first of 2 in the class, and covering off on chapters 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay? And then that little segment we did in the first week on financial management, there's our financial basics of finances. There'll be a couple questions about that as well. I put out an announcement on how to prepare for the test, but essentially if you've been doing the quizzes and been doing okay on them, you're probably in pretty good shape to take the test, and a little bit of review, study notes, those kinds of things. And speaking of, you can use notes, you can use the text, the web text, you can use all that while you take the test. So it's open book, open notes. What you can't do is go to other screens, and Honor Lock will call you on. We'll stop the test if you do that. The other thing is, along those lines, the best way to take that test is to go through and answer all the questions that you know. They're multiple choice. It's multiple choice test, so it's not, you have to have a certain level of retention to be able to do well in multiple choice tests, a lot like the quizzes were. Okay. And so go through and answer all the ones you have, and then it'll give you time to circle back on the ones that you're not so sure about. Okay. It's mostly covered. Most of the questions are from the material in the text, but there are a few that have to do with some of the other class material, which if it was a chance of it being on the test, I think I make it pretty clear that you should read something or watch a video, and none of them are very time consuming or long. So just keep that in mind. Those are things that will probably be on the test as well. All right, and that needs to be done by the Friday the 5th as well. Okay, so you've got a full week here. A lot of things going on, and I want to make sure that you're all fully prepared to do it, and then this week's going to be a little more time consuming than the others. But please stay with the class. It's really, really important to kind of keep up with this stuff. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is the video lectures that I do are really just to kind of emphasize certain parts of the material in chapters that I think are not necessarily well covered by the text. So I kind of emphasize those things and talk about things. But there's nothing from those video lectures specifically that is subject to be on the test. So it's not like you have to watch those and review them. If you just want to get a little more insight and a little more information, that's why I do them. They definitely don't talk about everything that's in the chapter, and so I don't want anybody to get confused and think like what I talk about is the only thing that's important, and the only thing that would be on the test. All right, so that's basically this coming week. I know it's a lot going on. This, like I said, the 7-week class has got it really crammed in there, so just get through it as best you can, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out or let me know. Actually, there's one other thing I wanted to talk to you about. If you look at your grade book in D2L, you'll see a new grade that's out there. It's called Midterm Grade Checkpoint, and it just basically says where you stand on your grades through the middle of this class, which is we're there, believe it or not. It gives you an idea of the progress you've made up to that point. It doesn't predict at all what your final grade's going to be. It just says where you're at this point. So it just gives you a pretty good idea of what's happening. And it's just to point out too, it's out of 80 points that have been essentially assigned and graded. And the total for the class is 370. So don't read too much into it. If you look at your midterm grade and you say, "Oh man, I wish I was doing better," we got a lot of ground to go. So don't think that you can't improve your grade tremendously in the last part of this class. The second thing with that is if you're getting a really good grade, keep up the good work. Don't kind of relax, because again, it's only 80 of the 370 points total for the class. So I wanted to point that out to you so you see it. If you have any questions about that or want to review that in any way with me, don't hesitate to send me an email. Please send it in D2L. Send me an email and give me 3 times you can meet, and we'll connect on either in my virtual office, or I'll set up a Google Meets meeting. So, okay. So don't hesitate to do that, and I'm happy to spend the time to go over that with you if that's what you choose. Okay. Best of luck for this week. I think you're going to do fine, but it's a big one. So good luck with it, and if you have any questions at all, please let me know.